I was on a podcast today, and the therapist asked me, would I be willing to go deeper with an exercise? And before I knew it, I was talking to my younger self. I remember, I remember telling my younger self, "You're safe, young Drew. I came to get you." And before you knew it, I was legit just crying. Finally, telling that young man, 7 years old, "You're safe. I got you." Um, It hit me because it was then I started realizing that healing wasn't just for me. It's for the person my daughter also sees. My youngest, my oldest. The parts that hide, the parts that still struggles with shame at times. The part that just isolates, not because of the love of isolation, but because of that's how young Drew coped with his feelings. Healing isn't selfish, it's stewardship. And you might feel that, on this healing journey, it's just for me. So I don't got time just to care for me. I got to handle business, I got to take care of the family. Those things are true. But unhealed versions of you, your family sees it, your friends see it in some way, but you feel it. And what if it's time for you to experience a different quality of life? I remember a friend telling me before to keep going on the healing journey because this also affects my quality of life. With working with men, I realized that most men, especially high achieving men, don't really struggle with discipline or toughness. Most men will wrestle with the part of understanding that growth sometimes is feeling safe, feeling that you can take the cape off, that you can take the superhero equipment off. Reminded of a time where I was um, actually talking on a podcast, and I mentioned when I first started like journaling and opening up my emotions and heart, I would find myself always driving to this certain park. This certain park at the time was not close to me. It was actually about 30 minutes away from me. And where I lived at the time, there were parks that were literally 5 minutes away from me. But I would drive to this 30-minute park. And then I found another park. There's two parks I would drive to. And I would just sit there for a little while. No agenda. I would sit there. I would just think. I would write. Some days I would get out the car. Some days I wouldn't. But I didn't realize this until someone pointed it out to me. They said, describe the place. And I described it. It was nothing fancy. But it was the place where young Drew would go play when he first started playing football for a team. And I had coaches who were wonderful coaches because they looked like me. They understood discipline and toughness, but for some reason, they always showed us it's okay to cry, it's okay to feel. They didn't do it in a cheesy way, standing in a corner or standing in a circle. They just did it through coaching us. You can do this. I see you. I see more in you. And I didn't realize that I was going back to those same fields monthly and sometimes weekly because that's where young Drew felt safe. That's where I still felt safe. So for the men out there, everybody may be yelling, get a safe space. You will find out where it feels safe for you to just let your guard down for a couple minutes. Sometimes we think it might be the gym, but sometimes that's where we're performing the most. And I go to the gym. Maybe it's a walk, maybe it's a path. But I encourage you that healing isn't selfish. It's stewardship. It's owning this life that God has, stewarding the life God has given you, and realizing I don't want to pass that on to my kids. I don't want this to interfere with relationships that could be better. I knew for me before I started therapy and really praying about things that hurt me and having some ugly, hard conversations, if I didn't do it, I would have ruined more relationships because I ruined relationships not healing before. I didn't know. But when you know better, you do better. I encourage you, find that space. And if you need somebody to talk to, hit me up. Be good. Be great.